Hello, hello, and welcome to the Sharper Shift podcast. I am your host, Shiv Reddy. This is week one of the 2022 season. I cannot wait. Everybody has literally been itching. Everyone I've talked to is ready to go, ready to bet, ready to play fantasy. I know there was a ton of fantasy football drafts this week, and a lot of these lines have been out, and a lot of people took advantage of those early lines, and they have moved really exponentially this week. But I did set up a poll earlier this week on Tuesday, I believe, and we gave out the Raiders versus Chargers, the Minnesota Vikings versus Green Bay Packers, the Cleveland Browns versus Carolina, and the Seattle Seahawks versus Denver Broncos. Got about 30 votes. It was pretty even until the uptick came in later in the day, later at night when you guys voted, and Raiders vs. Chargers was the winner. So I am going to be breaking that down, and I'm also going to be giving you 5 picks, the 5 picks that I'm leaning towards taking in the Super Contest. I will let you guys know if that changes. I'll tweet that out for those of you that don't follow me, at CaliVonk on Twitter and at Shivanchi __ on Instagram. Thank you guys for all the support and the help. And last but not least, let's dive into it here with the Raiders vs. Chargers. So, Raiders, Chargers, AFC West division rivals here going after it. It looks like the spread is at 3.5 currently. On Circa Millions, it is 3.5 as well. This spread was earlier in the offseason. It was at -3. It came down about 2 weeks ago, and it pretty much stood there until this week. So looks like some sharp money did come in on the Chargers here. I think there is some lines out there that you can still get -3, -120 over here, but let's dive right into it here, and I'll let you guys know my prediction later. But Raiders offense, Josh McDaniels comes in, and he gets the help of Davante Adams. So Josh McDaniels finally has that elite wide receiver that he can work with in this offensive scheme. And he also has Darren Waller as well as Hunter Renfrow, where he can get the ball. I don't think he's going to be using Hunter Renfrow that much. I think Renfrow has all the knowledge and capabilities of doing what he does and finding that open spot in the zone whenever Carr drops back and Carr gets the ball to him. That's why the saying is third and Renfrow. But he gets all those weapons there. He gets some weapons in the backfield in Amir Abdullah, Brandon Bolden, and Zamir White in the draft. The only question I see here is the offensive line. Offensive line starters include Colton Miller, John Simpson, Andre James, Lester Cotton, and Jermaine Illuminor. I think that's how you say it, Illuminor. But other than Colton Miller did grade out at 80.5 in PFF ratings. But other than him, this PFF rating on average was 58.75, which was well below the 60 PFF rating on average offensive lines in this league. There's a lot of questions here. I think that you're going to have to see how they hold up. They are better pass blockers than run blockers, which is very interesting. Hopefully McDaniels and the offensive line coach there and that regime has worked with this offensive line to improve their run blocking. But this is all going to be dependent on how this offensive line holds up, and I think a lot of people are jumping the gun saying, "Oh, Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl." This, that. There is a chance, right? If this O-line takes a tick up and a notch up, but there's always that chance with the injuries and things like that where this cannot go the Raiders' way. So let's see how this team does throughout the season. But offensive line is a huge question mark, especially in week one. You want to take advantage of what you have on the offensive line in week one and see what you have so you can go in and game plan for other games. But this will be a huge test for the Raiders, especially going against that Chargers defense. And that Chargers defense includes none other than Chicago and the Raiders' very own Khalil Mack lining up across Joey Bosa. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the quarterback in this one, I think. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa both are rated the top 5 defensive pass rushers in the league in the past 5 seasons. They're actually top 3 other than Aaron Donald. They get the most pressure rate. So this is going to be an interesting matchup here with a depleted offensive line in the Raiders and then that bolstered up defensive line. They also did go out and get Sebastian Joseph Day from the Los Angeles Rams. he was a catapult for the Rams and stopping the run and also getting pressure. So this defense has made strides on that line perspective. And the linebacker corps does improve as well. They go out and get Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy from the New England Patriots, and he is rated the best coverage linebacker in the season last year, which is great to see. I mean, he looks like he's going to be taking on that responsibility of tagging along with Darren Waller there, and Derwin James might match up a little bit with Hunter Renfrow or Devontae Adams on either side of the ball. So I look for this team to be improved on the linebacker course as well. Kenneth Murray does come back from injury from the linebacker standpoint, and he is as fast as ever. I think he's going to be a ball hawk this year. I think you'll see a very big uptick in tackles for him. He was a stud at Oklahoma, and I think he's going to have that year 2 leap from his rookie season last year after getting injured. So let's see. Let's see how this defense does from the linebacker corps position. And obviously the secondary is so revamped. I mean, it's probably the best secondary in the league. You got J.C. Jackson, you got Bryce Callahan, you got Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, Nasir Adderley. I mean, this secondary is built for the Super Bowl. So obviously J.C. Jackson is not playing. Asante Samuel is going to take that spot right there for that starting cornerback position. So I think you'll see some mismatches with Devontae Adams here in early to start the season. But let's see if J.C. Jackson can play. I think he was questionable on the injury report, so we'll have to monitor that. But let's see how this defense does. I think they'll provide enough coverage so that those two great edge rushers can get pressure on the quarterback, especially with a depleted offensive line in the Raiders offense. And let's kick things off with the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders. They are playing the Chargers offense. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer. Those are all weapons that the Chargers have. And it's not the best offense. It's not. They have above average receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Joshua Palmer is yet to be seen. I don't know how he's going to do this year. It looks like a lot of fantasy owners have been taking him a little bit in the later rounds, so let's see how he produces. But this Chargers offense pretty much looks the same. I think they're going to move the ball definitely a lot better than they did last year, and they did move the ball a ton last year. So I think they get some good running backs back as well. They'll have Austin Eckler back. I mean, he's pretty injury prone, but they do have some good backups over there. And, you know, Justin Herbert's going to get the ball out, and he does have an improved offensive line. A lot of those players on the offensive line are in year 2. There is one new starter on the right guard position for this Chargers offense. But the right guard is, again, like I mentioned before, one of the most replaceable positions in football. And right guard doesn't take that clear advantage there, but obviously it's good to have a good one. But Chargers offense looks pretty much the same, and I think that the Chargers are okay with that. I think they moved the ball as much as they could last year, and with this revamped defense, they're going to get a lot more chances this year. So let's see how this Chargers offense fares in the season. But I do think they have a clear advantage here against this Raiders defense. This Raider defense did add Chandler Jones to the defensive line. They added Jayon Brown in the middle, and they added Rocky Sin and Anthony Averett at the corner positions. They definitely significantly improved their corners. Rocky Sin was actually rated a top 10 cornerback last year prior to injury, so he looks to make that leap with the Raiders. And Anthony Averett was pretty good from the Baltimore Ravens standpoint as well, so covering for Marcus Peters and such, and he definitely won himself this contract with the Raiders. So let's see how this defense is built. I mean, I think personally that they should play a lot of 3 high safety looks with Abrams. Abrams is one of the worst coverage safeties in the league, so I think he's much better positioned at linebacker, and I think Gruden used him a little bit 2 years ago at the linebacker position. So let's see if this team can figure that out and make some adjustments as the weeks go by. But I don't think you're going to see this in week 1 or week 2. Trayvon Moehrig definitely can man that middle in the safety position, but Abram we'll have to see. I think they're going to really exploit him, especially in coverage. And as cerebral as Justin Herbert is, I think that he's going to try to exploit that matchup there as well. The edge here, I think this edge is the Chargers. Everything I spoke about leans Chargers here. They're better on paper. They have the defense that can cause disasters for offenses, and obviously this is a revenge game from last year's Week 18 matchup. So I am leaning to Chargers. I took the Chargers -3 about 2 weeks ago when it was -120. This line stays at -3.5. I do still like this. I am going to take this in the Super Contest. But there you have it. And banger best bet. I said I was going to give out my top 5 picks here. I'm not ready to do that yet, but I will tweet those out. But my banger best bet is going to be the Cleveland Browns +1.5. I got this early at +2.5, but it is now PK. So think about it. I don't know. I wouldn't suggest taking that. I think it's bad value, but let's see if that upticks to Carolina. Probably wait till Sunday, but my banger best bet is going to be the Cleveland Browns at +1.5. And I will, again, tweet out my top 5 picks later. But thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to do this every week and break down one game and give you my banger best bet. So again, banger best bet, Cleveland Browns at +1.5.